Hi guys, Drew here. First, let me say happy 2018 and may it bring you prosperity, love, joy, abundance on all levels. I'm beginning the Pagan Challenge 2018 with angels and demons. As always, this is my opinion, my experience, my understanding, my beliefs. I do not ask that anyone substitute them for their own. If you have very strong beliefs about this topic and are not really open to hearing things outside your belief, you should go ahead and turn this off. It is not my intention to trigger anyone or upset anyone, so there's the warning. So, I believe in angels and demons. And I have worked with them. Okay, that sounds a little weird, but just hang in there. So, my beliefs about angels and my experiences with angels is not really that far off the mark as far as the society that I have grown up in here in America. Those who believe in angels in my culture and the pop culture surrounding the topic in this country kind of go hand in hand and reflect my own experiences. I will work with any angel or angelic energies. For me, they are messengers and guides, and I typically work with what I have been introduced to as 4 main archangels. I work with them in ritual. When I call the quarters, I call on the elements. I call on the archangel I associate with the elements, and sometimes I call on the properties I associate with each quarter and the elements in those angels. And I ask them to ground and guard the circle. I also work with them in other ways, but that is the most prominent way that I work with them. When I do wards around the property, I will call in those same archangels. Archangel Michael is one that I have definitely worked with outside of that setting, and that's mainly for protection purposes. For me, Archangel Michael is an aspect of spirit, and it is an aspect that centralizes around certain ideas, behaviors, what have you. And so, when I need protection, instead of calling on spirit for protection, I can just call Archangel Michael, and it's automatically understood that what I need right then is protection. I have seen angels. I have seen them with my physical eyes, as well as in dreams and with my second sight, my third eye. When I see angelic energy, it's higher up. For instance, if I'm in a room, it'll be up near the ceiling. It'll move very quickly, and it'll be white light energy moving through the space. It's just as much about what I feel when I see it as anything else that lets me know this is an angelic energy. This is the part that might be controversial for some people. Let me preface this by saying I don't do good and evil. I just don't. I believe in the evils of man. You've kind of gotten hints about it in other videos if you've watched, but for me, everything, this is my own personal belief, everything was created by spirit, of spirit. Spirit moves through everything. Nothing exists outside of spirit for me. So there is no adversary, there is no outside evil, because regardless of whatever is happening, it is part of spirit. There must be a purpose. So even when things don't feel good, I understand that there's a higher purpose. I have worked with what I would refer to as demon. It was not intentional. I didn't call for that, but it happened. So I don't buy into this religious idea of demons. I can understand why somebody might come across the shadow energy that has been left behind when someone passed, that's taken on a life of its own, or even just shadow energy from someone who is actually alive but has been projected outward and taken on a life of its own, or many other forms of dark energy out there. I can understand why somebody might encounter those and think, oh God, demon. I can see that connect, but for me, that it's just askew a little bit. Yeah, I don't do heaven and hell and this fight between them for the souls of mankind. So I don't really get that concept. It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't make sense to me. It's fine for anybody who does, but my experience, my understanding, my exposure does not jive with that concept. I have personally encountered shadow energy that was damn scary, nasty. But for me, it really felt like just archaic, chaotic energy. There was no evil intent exactly. I don't know how to explain it. You had to be there, I guess. But for me, angels and demons are the same. They're the same. The one time that I had a demon, what I would consider demon energy, angelic energy, come to me in that form. I was asleep and I woke up out of a dead sleep because something was wrong. I wasn't living where I do now, but I had all kinds of wards set up. There were rules. No one was allowed in my children's room after 8 o'clock at night. Actually, they weren't allowed in any part outside of my own bedroom after 8 o'clock. And once I went to bed, they were not allowed in my space either. Nothing. Except guides and angels, maybe. And of course, this being angelic energy, it was there. And it was very uncomfortable. It woke me out of a dead sleep. And I shot up in my bed and looked right into the corner of the room where the energy was coming from. It was very palpable. And in my mind, telepathically, I said, "You're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here?" There wasn't really a response. There were no words communicated, but it just, again, was very menacing. It became, it's like it puffed up. And then I asked who it was. And the response I got was, "I am Legion." And I'm, again, not a very religious person, but I have studied many paths. And of course, I understood this to mean many demons. And the energy, it was palpable and it was uncomfortable and menacing. And I'm sitting up in my bed in lotus position with my hands sort of cupped in my lap, unintentionally. There was no purpose for it. That's just the way I was sitting. I was completely focused on this entity, this energy. And I would call it an energy. It wasn't an entity. I was completely focused on this energy. And suddenly, after this response, there was this, I've never felt anything before or after like it. I had created this orb of energy, and it was so powerful that my hands were just ablaze, tingling from this orb. And I became fascinated by that momentarily. And I felt sort of empowered. And I looked back at the corner and I said, "What do you want? Why are you here?" And the response was, "You'll understand that when you're ready to," basically. And after a moment, it faded. It was gone. The orb in my hands dissipated. And I just sat there dumbstruck for quite some time. It really didn't take me long to figure out what that was about. Sitting with myself quietly, with guidance, and just dwelling on it and thinking about it, mulling it over in my head, I had an epiphany, an aha moment, and I realized there was nothing bad or wrong about that. It presented itself to me in a way that made me highly uncomfortable. But I realized that I was being shown that I was more powerful than I understood, and that I was more capable of protecting and defending myself and my loved ones than I realized. I believe it was important for me on my path as a shaman to sort of embrace this understanding that we work with the light and the dark. We work with that which feels harmonious and that which does not. And I would call that energy demonic. There are other forms of dark energy that I've come across that were far scarier and did not seem to have a beneficial purpose for me. Although in retrospect, I can always find that silver lining, and I can always figure out how I benefited from a situation. I feel like, for me, that angelic energy, that angels, can be either harmonious or disharmonious. They do what needs to be done. And whether that feels good to us or not is besides the point. We inevitably learn and grow and become something better than we were as a result of these interactions, no matter how they feel to us at the time. Since I have never had an experience that would cause me to buy into this idea of good versus evil for the souls of mankind or anything even similar to that. I just lump them together. Like, to me, what came to me was angelic energy. It just didn't automatically register as angelic energy to me. I came into the full power of Archangel Michael one time when I was under attack from dark energy. And I called out to him and I invoked him. And I don't necessarily suggest it unless it's an emergency, because it's not pleasant at all. I thought I was having a freaking heart attack. Like, these are energies that are beyond our understanding. There's so much more than we are in this physical form. So much more than we could even handle mentally, emotionally, physically, what have you. Point being, I guess, angelic energy isn't always going to feel cuddly and fluffy. A lot of times it does. But sometimes it's hard energy. Sometimes they're such powerful beings, and they have, again, their own, almost like a crystal has properties. They have their own deal. You know, they preside over different things, and that will affect the way the energy feels to us. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. I don't know if any of that makes any sense to you, but I'm really interested to know your opinions. If you've had experiences with what you would consider to be angelic or demonic energies, I would love to hear about it. If you have, or even just your ideas, your theories, your beliefs, share them in the comments below. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and until next time, much love and gratitude.